Hello everyone, I am Jake Magay of the Cagayan State University and I am currently pursuing my doctorate degree in Information Technology at the St. Paul University, Philippines, and today I'm going to share with you my new learnings and knowledge in the topic Information Security, which is the first part of our course IT Assurance and Security. First, what is information security? Information security means protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information assets, whether in storage, processing, or transmission. It is achieved via the application of policy, education, training, and awareness, and technology. Also, this may mean protecting them from attackers invading our networks, natural disasters, adverse environmental conditions, power failures, theft, or vandalism, or other undesirable states. And there are four components of information security. One of these is the computer and data security, which refers to protective digital privacy measures that are applied to prevent unauthorized access to computers, databases, and websites. It also protects data from corruption. The second component is the management of information security, which is primarily concerned with strategic, tactical, and operational issues surrounding the planning, analysis, design, implementation, and maintenance of an organization's information security program. Another component is network security, which means an organization's strategy and provisions of ensuring the security of its assets and all network traffic. It is manifested in an implementation of security hardware and software. The last component is policy. A policy is a set of conditions, constraints, and settings that allows you to designate who is authorized to connect to the network and the circumstances under which they can or cannot connect. Also, keep in mind that there are three primary concepts of information security, and these are confidentiality, integrity, and availability, or what we call CIA triad. Confidentiality is our ability to protect data from unauthorized persons to view it. Therefore, this data should be kept and secured. Integrity is our ability to prevent unauthorized or undesirable change or deletion of data by unauthorized or even authorized persons. And lastly, availability. It is the ability to access our data. Data should be available whenever we need it because losing the availability could mean a break in the chain. Aside from the CIA triad, we also have the Parkerian hexad proposed by Don Parker in 1998, which adds three more attributes. First, possession or control, which refers to the physical disposition of our media or device where these important data are stored. In other words, we must possess this data personally, and at the same time, we can also control this data. The next is authenticity, which refers to the proper attribution of data. Data should be attributed to the creator. An attack may undesirably alter the creator or originator of the data as its mechanism, which can violate the authenticity of the data. The last is utility, which refers to the usefulness of data. Are the data useful to us? Are these data important to us? It is said that if the decryption key is lost, then data becomes useless. In information security, there are many kinds of attacks, but how are we going to defend against these attacks and how these attacks work? There are some techniques or methods to defend against attacks, and these should be based on the 5 fundamental security principles. We have layering, which means implementing multiple defenses so that attackers would hardly break all of these layered security. Another principle is limiting. This means that we have to limit the number of users who can access the data. Only those who need the data should be given the privilege. We also have diversity, which is similar to layering in the sense that these layers have different mechanisms so that attackers cannot use the same techniques to penetrate each layer. The next principle is obscurity, which means hiding the behavior or mechanism of internal system from outside. In addition, only those involved in the implementation would know the real mechanism. The last principle is simplicity. This principle talks about making things simple, such as making your internal system simple and making your security measures simple. As a result of simplified things, it would be easier to understand if undesirable behavior happened. Defending against attacks is difficult for some reasons. Here are the difficulties in defending against attacks. First, we have speed of attacks. Attackers can easily penetrate computer systems in a short time. Second, greater sophistication. Attacks are being more complex, hence defending against them is more difficult. Simplicity of attack tools is another difficulty, which means many tools are now available and made easy and therefore do not require too much technical knowledge to use them. Another is delays in patching hardware and software products. If new products become available, defense mechanism of these products from the possible attacks might be insufficient. Another is attacks are distributed. It is difficult to defend against them because you need to stop all the attacks from the different sources. Stopping a single source is not enough. Another is user confusion. Attacks do not provide detailed information about them. Hence, users would find difficulty in making any actions. Attacks have different types, but how are these attacks work? I want to share with you the 5 different steps. The first step is to probe for information. Attack usually get any information from your network and devices that can be used to start an attack. The second is to penetrate any defense. After gathering information, the attack will now start to penetrate defenses. That's why we need to have a strong security against these attacks to prevent them before they can make any unwanted actions. The third step of an attack is to modify your security settings. Changing your security settings enable them to do actions freely because they are starting to control your computer. The fourth step is to circulate to other systems. Having some control or privilege to your computer will enable attacker to spread to other networks or computers. The last step of an attack is to paralyze your networks and devices. After passing and performing the previous steps, attacker can now control your computer and perform anything they want to your data. Also, I want to share with you the different possible threats in IT systems. And there are 3 categories of threats. We have threats on hardware, software, and data. Threats on hardware include theft, fire, water, dust, smoke, radons, chemicals, physical destruction by personnel or outsiders, wiretapping, and electromagnetic emanation. Likewise, threats on software include unauthorized changes, intentional or unintentional deletion, wrong version, logic bombs, hidden side effects, trapdoors, and information leaks. It also includes virus, worms, Trojan horses, theft, and unauthorized copying. And lastly, threats on data, which includes theft, accidental disclosure, inference, masquerading, and unauthorized access. Every attack may cause risk to the organization or to an individual. In the topic on information security, I learned that there are 3 controls to mitigate risk. One of these is physical controls, which is the protection of the physical environment where the system or any IT assets are located. Physical control includes fences, gates, locks, guards, CCTV cameras, and any other methods of monitoring the physical environment. Another is the logical controls, which refers to those that protect the systems, networks, and environments that process, transmit, and store data. What are those logical controls? It includes the implementation of passwords, encryption, logical access, controls, firewalls, and intrusion decision system. And lastly, administrative controls, which are based on rules, laws, policies, procedures, guidelines, and other items that are paper in nature. Based on the 3 controls in mitigating risks, is your organization has all these controls? Can you enumerate all the specific controls exist in your organization under these 3 categories? I can say that we do not need to have all these controls to mitigate risk. Instead, find the most appropriate control that is suitable to your organization. Before I will end this video, I also want to share with you some tips on network security measures and some network security tools. And here are some tips. Use a strong firewall and proxy to be used to keep unwanted people out. Second, a strong antivirus software package and internet security software package should be installed. For authentication, use strong passwords and change it on a weekly basis. Also, employees should be cautious about physical security. Next is prepare a network analyzer or network monitor and use it when needed. And of course, the implementation of physical security measures like closed-circuit television or CCTV cameras for entry areas and restricted zone. Also, use security barriers to restrict the organization's perimeter. Lastly, use fire extinguishers to be used for fire-sensitive areas like server rooms and security rooms. And now, here are some network security tools that can be used to protect your network. First, we have the Nmap Security Scanner. It is a free and open source utility for network exploration or security auditing. Second is Nessus, which is the best free network vulnerability scanner available. Third, we have the Wireshark or Ethereal. It is an open source network protocol analyzer for Unix and Windows. We also have Snort, which is a lightweight network intrusion detection and prevention system, excels at traffic analysis and packet logging on IP networks. We also have Netcat, which is a simple utility that reads and writes data across TCP or UDP network connections. And lastly is the Kismet, which is a powerful wireless sniffer. Okay, so that's all. I hope you have learned something from this video and thank you for watching.